What? Stop! No! I don't like it. I don't like it. Don't do it anymore.
Whatever tomorrow
Stop
brings,
it.
I'll
No,
be
stop.
there. Oh. What? I thought today was Incubus.
No, not that one.
Warning. The topics discussed on this podcast are subject to adult themes and languages. We seek to unravel the unexplained and unknown. This is Encounters.
On today's episode of Encounters, Amanda and I are going to be discussing the Incubus.
Sex demon.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, yes. Your friendly neighborhood sex demon.
Not friendly at all. Amanda, not friendly at all. Your neighborhood sexual offender demon? That's not as fun, though.
Yeah, no.
But it's more aligned to the truth.
Yeah, it's a lot more accurate, actually.
Today we will be talking about the Incubus and the Succubi. Incubus not to be confused with the band Incubus. And Succubi not to be confused with, I don't think there's anything.
Your mom.
Yeah. Oh, bitch. You know, the first time I ever heard about a succubus, it was South Park.
Really?
Yeah. When Chef almost marries a succubus.
I didn't watch South Park.
You didn't watch South Park?
Mm-mm.
Me either until I was like 23.
Yeah, that's true. See, the first time I had ever heard about Incubus or Succubus or Succubuses was that band. And then I looked up what that band meant, and I was like, oh, crap. There's like a whole thing about this.
A whole perverted, demonic entity.
Right? Like, real crazy.
It appears in the Lesser Key of Solomon. They're mentioned in the Torah. They're mentioned in the Bible. They're mentioned in the Necronomicon. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
So they're evil.
They're bad.
They're really
bad
bad.
News. Yes. Should we tell them what they do?
I mean, yeah. God.
So, an incubus is a demon that will come to you in the night while you're sleeping, normally hold you down and have sex with you. Normally appearing in a dream, but typically the people who say they have been attacked or have encountered an incubus or succubi say they do feel it physically, though.
Yeah, I heard a story about a woman that had to get stitches afterwards.
Oh my god, no you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you.
It's just, no, every story I hear shocks me because it's so crazy.
Hell, in episode 2 we were talking about a fucking pirate ghost having sex with a woman. What makes you think this is crazy?
That probably was an incubus, though.
It probably was. It probably was.
Yeah, now that I've learned. It's also said that the incubus and the succubuses are the same being.
Yes.
They, like, switch genders. So they'll turn into the succubi to, you know, seduce a man and then collect his sperm. And then they'll turn into an incubus and then go and sleep with a woman and impregnate her.
With the guy's semen that they sucked out as a succubus?
Yes.
That's nasty.
Because, what? Yeah, well, they say demons can't produce offsprings. So this is a way that they produce little demon babies. Somehow.
So I guess it's important to note that the incubus is the male version that sleeps with women, and the succubus is the female version of the same demon that sleeps with men and seduces men.
Do you know how to say these Latin words? Term incubus comes from incubo, a nightmare induced by such demon, and incubine, to lie upon. Because thank you, Wikipedia. It said to, a lot of the attacks say that the incubus or the succubus will hold you down and lay on you, or like force you down when the attacks are happening.
And they utilize seduction. A lot of the times when these cases are actually reported, They seldomly are, for the sheer fact that most of the victims, you're asleep, and this thing kind of enters your dreams. I heard one person describe it as, like, one of the hottest celebrities you know shows up in your dreams, and you have, like, a sexual encounter with this person, and you wake up feeling like you've actually had sex and whatnot, a wet dream or so, and it was actually an incubus the whole time.
Yeah.
So, ew. I don't know what to say to that. That's just...
I know. But I did hear a woman preaching kind of about incubuses and succubuses and whatnot, and saying that, like, yeah, like sex dreams and perversion is what, like, calls them to you.
They also have a sound they have found on YouTube that calls them to you.
Oh, no.
Yes. When I put in Incubus, the first thing that came up was all of the Incubus band. So I put in Incubus Demon, and then all the other videos came up, and they were like, how to summon an Incubus. I was like, no. What? And the noise was like, and I'm like, no. Get out of here with that.
And the thing is, they say prolonged encounters with an incubus or succubus, you can die after. Like, it decreases your health, and you can also die from it. Did you not hear that?
No, I know. That's in every single thing. That's how they say people die. So these things...
What do they look like?
These things look like demons. That's what they look like. Evil demons. Evil sexual demons. College Humor had one where they had, like, this curly penis.
Yeah, I saw it.
That was the most uncomfortable video I've ever seen. It's like, how do you report a sex crime when your coworker's an incubus? He's, like, riding this girl at one point with his, like, curled penis on her.
Oh my god.
It was uncomfortable. It's what I imagine an incubus to be now.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how they're described. They're scary looking things. That's why they come out at night while you're sleeping.
And most of the time in, like, actual encounters, you will not see them as these creatures. They'll be invisible. It'll feel like a compression on your chest. Most of the sensation that you feel will be physical. Like, there won't be a physical apparition. In some cases there might be, but not in many cases. But a lot of the reports that I read involve, like, nipple touching, private touch. I'm trying to keep it clean.
I know.
It's
like,
hard when you got, like, the sex demon. I know that we don't mind cussing, we don't mind saying spooky shit, we don't mind doing any of that, but, like, for some reason it feels hard to say areola on the air. I apologize, guys. It's not that fucking taboo, but these things are assaulting people in their sleep.
That's true. You definitely physically feel an incubus attack.
Yes. And usually it's sexual gratification.
Yes. Yeah. No, I guess orgasm is okay.
You orgasm when you have a succubus or an incubi.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people get addicted too. Because sometimes they say it's like the best they've ever had. Like the best orgasm, I guess. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that.
I just heard that. One of the videos I was watching.
I don't ever want that.
But that's what they say. I mean, that's what they say.
That's what they say. Who's they, Amanda?
I didn't ask them personally who they were. They're just on the internet.
So, let's travel back in time and see where these things come from.
In the beginning,
God created everything. And then he created Adam from the earth. In some religious texts, God also created a woman from the earth before Eve. Her name was Lilith, and she was Adam's equal.
First wife. Oh, yeah, that too.
But Adam didn't see it that way.
Of course.
Surprise.
Right.
Boo! Twist in the story.
Right. Who would have thought that Adam didn't want an equal?
It's actually said in the religious text. Adam says, "Lay beneath me," and Lilith goes,
"Nah, I'm good."
And for that, she is cast out and told that for not subjugating to Adam, like 100 of her children will die every day.
Yeah, she had a choice. She left, and the angels were like, "Hey, come back, or 100 of your kids will die every day."
And she was like, "No."
Yeah.
And she went and became the mother of demons. And then God pulled a rib out of Adam and said, boom, there's a woman. Her name is Eve. Forget that other one. But it's really interesting because these religious texts don't show up until the medieval period. Like, one even doesn't show up until the 13th century, when they tell the stories that the King James Bible was leaving out. Or the other Bibles, I don't know. This lore's been passed down from they say, from the earliest of early campfires.
They also say Lilith is the mother of vampires. Have you ever heard that?
Of course I've heard that. I'm a True Blood fan.
Oh yeah, I forgot she's in True Blood.
There's a whole fucking season dedicated to Lilith.
Lilith was known to, like, come at night and seduce men and steal babies.
Well, 100 babies had to die every night.
Like, lullaby is supposed to come from, like, Lilith-by or something like that. And it was to keep her away. It's like, Lilith be gone.
Lilith by, bitch, bitch, go away and don't come back. Right. That's my baby. That's about all the lore I know.
Oh, well, so there's different cultures. There's different names for the incubus. What I found very, very interesting was the Boto, which I think is a Native American version. I'm pretty sure. But it's a pink river dolphin that turns into a man and has sex with women that can either result in unwanted pregnancies, or sometimes they would go to the river and, like, disappear, and then he would turn back into a dolphin. And he had to wear a hat. When he was a human, he had to wear a hat to cover his breathing hole on the top of his head.
Oh. Well, in African folklore, there's the Popobawa.
Wow.
Which is a shape-shifting evil spirit that stalks victims at night from the shadows. And they say the only way to stop the Popobawa from attacking you is to tell other people that a Popobawa is attacking you.
Really? So you're just gonna, like, let it be known?
Yeah, put it out there.
Alright. German folklore, the Alp is a vampire-like creature who visits its victims at night. It wears a cape called a torcape?
Tarnkappe. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Tarkape, which is magical.
Yeah. In South Africa, the Tikoshi is a small, hairy, supernatural being that is said to assault women and bite off children's toes when they're sleeping.
That's not fun. So, like, in Norway, there's, like, a mare?
It's a nightmare.
Oh, and that's... Oh, when a person sleeps on you while you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeps on you while you're sleeping. Sits on you while you're sleeping.
In Hungarian folklore, the Liedrich is a satanic lover. It can have the body of the human, but apparently when it leaves, like, tracks in the snow, they're fucking hoof prints.
That's crazy.
In Chile, there's the Traco, which is a small, ugly humanoid creature who attracts and attacks women. These attacks aren't restricted to nighttime, but people often end up pregnant. So these things aren't just in Christianity. They're all over the world. They've been reported multiple different times, just like different folklore demons from a greater pagan standpoint that like to attack people sexually.
Yes. They're big on that perversion.
A lot of people were saying that they confused the vampire with the incubus.
I could see that. They're a lot alike, other than the feasting on blood.
I mean, I guess a highly sexualized
night creature.
Yeah.
And they're pretty strong. They hold people down.
Yeah, tell us about this encounter you found, Amanda.
So this woman had posted that she had an encounter with an incubus. She said that she had really gotten into paranormal shows and found herself on a paranormal chat room, I guess, where she met this older woman who convinced her that her house was haunted and told her to come and like do an investigation with her. And so when she went out there, when she was sleeping one night, she said that she felt like someone touching her, and then she like had an orgasm. And the next day she told the lady who was hosting her, and she's like, oh yeah, that's a ghost. It's actually a ghost from like a French ghost from one of these wars who died on the land, and he just likes you. And she said that she was getting like recordings of like this ghost saying that he loves her and all these kind of crazy things happening, and it would come to her every night, and, you know, they would like fool around and whatnot, whatever, crazy. So then the older lady was like, why don't you take the ghost home with you? And she's like, you know, that would be a great idea. Come home with me. So she commands this ghost to come home with her, but she gives it like a rule that when her husband is home, that they're not allowed to like mess around. And she said that the attacks were becoming more frequent and becoming more violent. So she started doing research on what it was, and that's when she discovered it was like an incubus. She eventually was able to get rid of it, but the fact that that lady like kind of tricked her, I guess, I don't even know.
It's like a fucking old lover that she didn't want in the house anymore and be like, hey,
exactly.
It's like re-gifting your dildo. You just don't do shit like that.
Right? Isn't that messed up? Like, why would you do, like, either the old lady knew it was an incubus or that thing had like convinced her it wasn't. And like, no, I feel like that old lady had to know, right? She even was saying like, take it home with you.
That's insane.
Right? And I even saw a story where Lucy Liu said she was sleeping when a spirit came down from the gods or who knows where and made love to her, and it was sheer bliss, and I felt everything. I climaxed, and he floated away.
I can't. I can't.
That's what Lucy Liu said, and it was in U.S. Is it Us Magazine? Yeah, not U.S. Magazine. But I guess she did an interview with Us Magazine, and that's when she told that story.
Well, there's some even Reddit users that claim to have, like this guy, he was like, it just kind of comes naturally when you have the libido of an incubus yourself. I have like 3 to 4 succubi, depending on who I reach out to and who I enjoy company with daily.
Right? What the fuck? I even, at the end of that lady who got tricked into taking the incubus home with her, she said she found something where a man had, like called, what is it called? Like summoned a succubi and had like didn't want to be with women anymore. It was like that was the only thing he did. It was fuck that thing. Excuse me. Have sex with it.
Oh my god. What a weird topic. But there are ways to get rid of an incubus and a succubi, though they may be a little archaic. First of all, with the incubus and the succubi, you almost have to buy into the fact that it itself has a religion, being stemmed as a child of Lilith, that it subscribes to some Judeo-Christian hierarchical structure. Thus, most of the things that we found from fighting these things come from the Malleus Maleficarum from Germany, which interprets the Bible and says that exorcism is the number one, like, a way to get rid of this type of demon. But I think the number one thing to getting rid of it would be to want to get rid of it first.
Yeah.
You gotta want to get rid of the sex demon. Then you can go to the priest and have an exorcism. Or you can go to confession daily if you're a Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
They say you can make the sign of the cross and say Hail Marys. You can move around a lot.
That's crazy to me.
You trick the demon so that it can't find you. Because it's not like it's some supernatural demonic force. It's like that Craigslist hookup that you regret that keeps following you home.
It's called a stalker.
Yeah, that's what it's called. They also say you can excommunicate it. Which, is that like, get out? You're not allowed here anymore?
It's like an exorcism. Yeah. It's like commanding it to leave.
A lot of people say it's just it's just something that occurs because of sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Like a psycho state of sexual gratification while you're locked in bed. I don't get that, though, because most of the cases with sleep paralysis that come about are not happy experiences.
So sleep paralysis explains probably 9 out of the 10 things involved, with an incubus attack. I think it's the sexual gratification where it doesn't, that's when it stops lining up for me.
Well, right, because not all the cases that we found, or that I've even found, end with sexual gratification. Some people are happy with it, some people are not happy with it. Like, I would not be happy with it.
Yeah.
But how do I know that a wet dream that I might have had 10 years ago wasn't a demon jumping in and being like, we're having fun, aren't we? What?
So, if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, we've kind of covered it a little bit, but we'll kind of reintroduce it. It's a condition in which where someone is either waking up or falling asleep, and for a few seconds to up to a few minutes, they're unable to move. They're paralyzed, and most of the time, if you have sleep paralysis, you have a feeling of like fear and dread, which is completely understandable. You're awake, you're waking up, or you're going to sleep, or you're something like that, and you can't move. That would freak me out. It does freak me out. And they say with some cases that people will see things. A lot of times people would see something, what they called it the old hag syndrome, where they would see like a creepy old woman, or they would smell something, or they would hear footsteps, and then they wouldn't be able to move. And they would say it was because someone was sitting on their chest, or a lot of people see like shadow people, or shadowy images.
Yeah, I mean, the old idea of the nightmare, as you explained earlier with the Norse mythology, comes from the idea of something actually sitting on your chest, causing you to have these waking pains, these terrors, these night dreams that fuck with you. And that's weird to me. This is the thing that I can't... There's so much with sleep paralysis that happens. Like, shadow people, incubus, succubi, a hag. These are all... Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. scientists kind of explain it away. They say it's a hormone that's released during your REM sleep. And this hormone is to paralyze your body so you won't act out your dreams. And then sometimes when you're waking up, this hormone is still in your system. So for those few seconds, you're paralyzed, but you're awake. And they say in rare cases, it doesn't seem rare to me. It feels like people all the time see these, but you'll see hallucinations, quote unquote. But most of the time, they say horrific hallucinations. It's never happy things. You're always seeing like dark creatures. You always have a feeling of dread or sadness or anger. It's not ever, to me, when they're talking about sleep paralysis, anything that's positive.
Well, right, because imagine your mind wakes up and your body doesn't respond. Every movement that we make is our minds responding and saying, hey, do this, hey, do this, hey, do this. And so all of a sudden, your mind wakes up, you can see, and your mind says, move your arm, and your arm doesn't move. Mm-hmm. This doesn't happen. So immediately, the mind starts to freak out. Yeah. In one of the reports, the science reports I read, that's where these visions into a different world, into a different dimension can happen. From the scientific standpoint, it says that the mind goes into this fear complex where it freaks out because it doesn't have control of the body. Others state that this is when the mind is like aware of the other dimension where the spiritual reality lies. Yeah. So those are two conflicting parts, but science says it's because it's that fight or flight, and you're stuck and you want to fly but you can't move.
Yeah. So you imagine something terrifying.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, all right. Because as a person who suffers from multiple episodes of sleep paralysis, I know for me it starts with like you try to move, you can't move, and I start trying to speak or scream or anything. Like I physically try to scream, and it's that until I can make a noise, it's just terror. Because you're just like, when am I getting out of this? Like, what is happening? And then the times that you like see something is the worst, because you don't know if it sees you back. If that makes sense.
The thing that's staring at you?
Yes. Right?
I wonder if it sees me.
Right, but it like sees you see it, if that makes sense.
Gotcha, yeah. Like, it knows that you're watching back.
Right.
I wonder if a demon's ever like, oh shit, I think it's looking at me.
I never know. I not to go into any experiences or anything, I've just had situations where I've seen something and it didn't feel like it knew that I could see it. And if it did know that I could see it, then it would have been a situation.
Because it'd been like, oh fuck, now I can be really scary.
Exactly.
Demons, man.
Right. They always want to bring dread.
Fucking demons. But apparently these two want to bring you orgasms and death.
And dread.
Yeah, I mean.
Sorry.
But orgasms, though.
I mean, that's nice of them. They should ask for permission first, but, that's just me.
Yes.
Consent.
Consent culture.
I think that's pretty much it.
That is the sex demon.
Yeah. Can I admit that I watched a YouTube video, and when I was watching it, I could tell they just straight up read off of the Wikipedia page.
I was watching a YouTube video where he was showing what he was reading, and it was Wikipedia.
Don't get me wrong, I look at the Wikipedia and I'll get some of the facts, but not most of it. Not my whole video.
Yeah, but I also would like to get my hands on a copy of the Necronomicon and the Necronomicon.
No, you said it right the first
The Lesser Key of Solomon and the Malleus Maleficarum. I would like those 3 books because I would like to see what the fuck is going on.
We didn't even talk about the Epic of
Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to the first fucking piece of book that we have. They're there in that. And they're still here today. And they want They want your bones.
Your bones like to bone you?
Your seminal fluid, yes.
Ew.
Join us next week when we talk about, what are we going to talk about, Amanda?
The Perone family.
The Perone family. Another Warren 101. Join us when we talk about the Bathsheba possession and its relevance in Conjuring 1. If you like what you hear, follow us on Facebook at Encounters a Paranormal Experience. On Instagram at Encounters a Paranormal.
Anything else? We're on Stitcher now. Yay!
Ooh.
Why are you excited?
I am excited.
I think that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
This
Until
week.
next week,
Yeah.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Amanda.
Stay spooky.